Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Amnesia, a machine for pigs. Blind. So, let's go. The crates do kind of look like Brennenberg crates from Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The heart of the machine, and when they first said Daddy, my heart was molten, as if blood frozen upon the ground were held to the sun to thaw and slap. And they were inseparable, always together, one soul in two bodies, and my love was all-consuming. I would die for you, I whispered to the sleeping faces. I would kill. I would set this world to ruin to protect you. I have fought through dark tunnels, great engines, the foulest of beasts. I have set my covenant and drained this flood, and I am come for you now, my darling boys. Stop! No unauthorized persons to enter this facility by order of the management.
And we came then to London, and you set me upon a mantelpiece, and then you went into the house and gathered the servants, and reset you and I on recrafting them, and then you went into the garden and buried those tiny shattered skulls, alone. For your children, Mandus, to spare them the world you have created. For us all.
I'm not sure if I...
Dear God, dear Christ, what is this place?
I'm not sure if I heard this right, but maybe the voice in the background was singing Kyrie eleison, which would translate to Lord have mercy upon us in Greek, which, like, maybe that's what it was. I'm not sure. But you know, that would kind of gel with how the game, or rather specifically Mandus himself, control room, are constantly talking about how the world is shit, is like corrupted and dirty and spoiled.
And they feel no pain. The process is completely humane.
Humane, Professor? That we judge the acceptable level of suffering by the human condition? Ask the beggar, Professor. Ask the orphan. Ask the whore. Ask the starving, Professor. The weak, the sick, the filthy. Ask them to define your humane.
A final act of sabotage. The bastard has been here too. This is the epicenter of all his meddling. This is where it began, and this is where it will end. I will seek the source of this obstruction, and then I will render this sabotage impotent once and for all. Okay, so I think there's one more that doesn't have the hatch open for the rod to be inserted. Look, maybe. Okay. Danger: Compound X, highly flammable, highly corrosive, highly toxic. Okay, definitely accomplished something. Ignition control. Now to find the ignition controls and start the machine once more. Elated, I stride forth upon the catwalks. I am coming, my darlings. I have almost saved you. Well, I kind of press X to doubt. I'm like 65% sure my sons are already dead.
Quickly, quickly, the air is thin. Their little faces turn blue, Mandus. They suffocate, they suffocate. Now, Mandus, set them free. Set them all free. I live. I breathe again. I rise. I will rise to bleach the sky and still the water. I will spin the world wheel and set the future upon the path to redemption.
Where are my children? You promised me my children!
My time is come. More pig. More pig.
Boys. Boys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yep. Look pretty dead to me. A Mandus saboteur. There are feats of engineering contained herein that would make even those clever fellows at the Institute reel with envy.
And, emerging, I raised my head to an uncaring sun, and I cursed this world of pain and despair. This civilization built on the ricketed bones of the unfortunate, on the greed and swell of mammon and empire. Cradling a stone egg in my jacket, I kissed my children farewell, and I crawled my way home.
On 29th of December 1899, can a man construct himself anew? Can a man, on realizing who he is and what he has become, tear himself apart down to the bricks and begin anew? Are our souls just this, tiny cogwheels and clockwork and intricate machines to serve a function that upon reflection we might set to a new task? Can a man, defined by his actions, defined by what he by that which he now finds abhorrent, set to sabotage his body, his machine, until those children of his soul turn in new motion, and he may awake to a new sun, a new gear, a new century with a hope in his heart? As I reach my hands to the exposed wires, I ask myself, is redemption possible for such a creature as I? If not, then surely it is better to die amongst my creations than to continue to live as a monster. Yeah, I guess there is also this fact that I could have possibly very well killed my own sons, because the game began with like a person pleading his father for mercy, but I guess the confusing part is that that voice was an old man's voice, so that wouldn't really fit. Pressure regulation. Betrayed. It is done. The saboteur was me, and the voice on the telephone was him. But what of us? How do we connect? Surely I cannot be responsible for all I see about me. I cannot remember. All that I can grasp is a moment when the world split in two pieces and the innards of humanity fell from the orifice, turned agape into my open, bifurcated heart. Well, to be honest, calm down, game. You're not really that clever. The exact same thing happened in the previous game, which, to be honest, as I said, I do find a little infuriating. How I know the game is called Amnesia, but please, come up with some new tricks. Because it was very clear from first 30 minutes. This is not supposed to be. This never was, and I don't think it was supposed to be a mystery. But I have done all of this. I guess the mystery is why exactly. My current presumption is I just went mad after I went into one of those temples, which presumably housed the orb. But maybe more detail will be provided.
Where are they? Where are my children?
Why do you ask, Mandus? You know the answer well enough.
Yeah, they are dead. I guess the final twist, the final nail in the coffin would be if I learned that it is indeed I that have killed them. August 31st, 1899. Children really are the most wonderful, useful creatures. The unfortunates from the orphanage have provided indispensable in cleaning the larger steam pipes. It appears the matter from the slaughtering process may indeed vaporize at source, but drifts like dust through the air and lodges in the pipes, causing them to foul. Periodically, we shut the pressure down and sent one of our pixies into the pipes to scrap the reconstituted fat away. Armed with a short-handed broom, our little explorers venture into the dark. Of course, we can only keep pressure down for a short period, so they must be fast, or they risk being trapped and boiled by the superheated vapors when they rush back into the system. They will be sending their comrades in afterwards to scrape free the cooling mess. The survivors tell me they can reach all manners of places within the complex through the pipes. I smile, tell them I am proud, and then feed them to the pigs. Okay, that's obviously disgusting, but there is an element of like real world sort of early industrial era lore in there, because that was actually something that happened, back before labor laws made it illegal to employ children. They were actually used to do very dangerous things, based simply on the fact that they were small enough to fit in some cramped spaces. So, am I supposed to be breaking it now?
What are you doing, little piggy? Do you think I will allow you to sabotage me again?
I want my children, you unholy bastard!
The steam vent acts only at low pressure, which I guess would be now.
Will it hurt them?
A cleansing fire always burns, little Mandus, but it purifies and it makes anew. Did it hurt to carve out the fevered flesh? Did it hurt to cut free the gangrenous foot? Ask instead this: can we save them?
When did I say that? That is not me. That is not me!
On December the 1st, 1899, there is a spoon of medicine, I say, and it's a silver spoon, what you did get born holding, ever so painful for Mammy dear, but grasped so hard, it was in a little screaming red fist. Later you used your spoon to dig a hole in the garden to get all the way to Mexico, and you did eat worms with your spoon on the way to stay fat. The spoon was the same you gave to your twins, then you used it to dig a hole to their clockwork souls, and you ate up their hearts like soup. on the way to keep you fat. Fat little mole. Where will you dig next, I ask? You and your little silver spoon, made from the silver spine of your children, and wrapped in the hair of your dearly departed. Dear sweet Jesus, my darling Lilibeth, what am I become? Well, crazy person, I would say. Conduits are correctly placed to avoid pressure backdrafts. Child fatalities this month, 17. To be honest, that's entirely disregarding the horribleness of that. That's immensely stupid to have it embossed on a metal plate, because you would have to put a lot of effort to change it each month after you kill additional children. Mandus is the saboteur. It seems that the pressure system is indeed the Achilles heel of this facility, something I clearly did not realize in my first clumsy attempt at sabotage. If I reroute the steam, I can wreak havoc. All about me, the thunder of machinery, the blasts of boiling steam. I cannot pass without fear of scalding. I am a lobster, cracked, my circulation stagnated, my vital motions impeded. The steam will boil my hole unless I can find a way to shut it off. Escape through the pipes. If in the throes of my evil I send children into the pipes to clean them, then it seems likely that there is another entrance I can use to escape the noxious maelstrom of engines. I will ignore the burning in my nostrils from the fumes of this godless compound X that fuels the machines, and I will become the saboteur. I will destroy the pressure system, enabling me to enter the pipes without fear. The pressure regulator. Some sort of steam regulator. I'd wager if I disable it, the damage caused by the rushing steam could be catastrophic, certainly enough to force a temporary stalling of the entire engine. This should cause the steam pressure to drop. Mandus, you clever old goat, I can feel this horror, this grief, this betrayal boil into fury. I will not stand, I will not be undertrodden. If this machine is my heirloom, I am the Overman. What? I don't really understand what he's talking about at this point. Okay, that was very unclear. It was very unclear to me. I didn't really register this as a glass. Okay, I'm dead. I didn't really register that as a glass pane that I could break with my hand.
This is what you dreamt into being.
I will stop you. I will save them.
You are too late. It begins. My work has begun. Kill them, my peas! Kill them all!
Into the pipes and out of the engines. Now quickly through the pipes before the pressure returns and they fill with boiling corrosive steam. I sense the machine snarl itself about me, its unholy, inhuman mind coil and slick, and send its dark tendrils through its conduits to repair the damage. I will return to the streets. I will fetch help. I shall lead the people upon the factory, burn it to the ground, and seal this evil place underground forever. Anything to save them, burn away the remains. The parts will not process the waste, the offal of your world. They grit the system and stick to the wheels of the temple floor. Okay, so I guess it's pigment apocalypse time. The engineer has released them onto the streets. No soliciting, no hawking, no begging.
God, no, what have I done?
And children, remember, silence and hard work are the road to heaven. Not sure why the people are naked.
Mandus, I know you are out here. I own this city. I am this city.
No! This is not what I meant! This is not what I meant at all!
October 25th, 1899. No one misses the poor. Round up some orphans and the world will thank you for it. Disappear a whore and a gentleman applauds you. Call a beggar and the lady walks safely again. I hate them. I hate them more than any of the others. This privilege, this pretension, these so-called leaders, these pillars of society, is rich and fanciful. They wear the filth on their inside, but they are no less dirty. I have plans for them all. We will feed them, and then we will feed from them.
Redeem yourselves. Redemption is at hand. Enter the cleansing and set your souls free. For you are born into filth and will die as pigs. Only through my redemption can you ascend to the skies and claim the heavens as your kingdom. Fall on your knees. Ashes, ashes, bones and ashes. For the pile will reach critical, and we can have such a burning that this city will shine as a beacon of redemption to the world!
October 24th, 1899. We have set aside an entire wing of the mansion for their parties. We invite them from the near and far, and we guzzle them with fine wine and the finest cuts in all of London. My God, Mandus, but these chops are rather divine. But who is your butcher? Feed them up. For the wine and the grains will also lend their character to the product. Keep the flesh relaxed. Opium is the champagne. Opium in the champagne and gravy. A hog roast every night for the Duke and the Duchess. An actress battered and sliced. An artisan in every mouthful. An importer of fine teas, stewed in his own leaves. They bicker and breed under the table, by the fireplace, on the carpet stained with wine and fat, while long-dead nobles of deformed grace and cold stare watch them from the gilded frames along the crooked walls. We will hose it down later as we shovel them into our machine. So I guess they did not only slaughter the humans, but they also ate them, or at least they fed them to other people. Mm, 23rd of December 1899. I stand and look at myself in the mirror, penis in hand, and my reflection grins at me, and his mouth is full of sulfur mustards. Vain fool, he sneers. Are you really so very different? Do you genuinely believe your works of evil are any greater than the rest of them? You're simply a weak man, a product of his age, the same as any other. This is empire, cretin. This is the killing idiocy, the natural result of social Darwinism. If you are evil, then the world is evil. You just let the blood run in the street rather than hiding it in the poorhouse. You hold the blade and slide it home yourself. You do not pay a man to do this for you where you cannot see it. If you are evil, at least yours is an honest evil, and that alone makes you an Ubermensch. And thus I wash my hands and take to bed. What? What's up with the penis in your hand? Like, were you masturbating when thinking about how evil you are? That's definitely kind of edgelordy, but you know.
Do you hear me, Mandus? This is what you planned.
Is that big man raping someone? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from that move. Let's not dwell on that too long.
Where are my children? Where are
farming the world. A missing vein, I see it now. We must find them, these scrolls, these old words, written upon the metal rods that glow in the half-light. The dusk is gloaming. London's burning. God forgive me what I have unleashed. I stand and smell the burning city. I see ash upon the wind. I hear the roars of the sickening beasts and the screams as they fall upon the city and drag its people for the slaughter. Now I begin to understand what the other composite ingredient of Compound X must be, and I also understand this. It is my responsibility now. I must find a way back to the heart of the machine and complete what I started. Counterattack. I have returned, an angel of vengeance, a saboteur once more. I will find a way to stop this vast enterprise of slaughter. Enough distraction opened the heart before. It confused the machine, enough to spring its locks and secret doorways. It must cause it great shock. I must cause it great shock, stab its eyes, poke hot wires in its ears, hammer to its teeth, and push glass into every orifice. Then it will gasp, and in that gasp, I will scuttle into its throat and stab its heart from the inside. I'm pretty sure those are human carcasses. Am I stuck? If I am stuck, that's actually quite annoying. I do feel stuck. Okay, let's save and exit. Maybe it will help. Nope, I'm still stuck, which is a bit annoying because it means I have to... Okay, so I'll redo the bit. Okay, so I'm back. I'm not going to step in this place anymore, but there is a piece of paper here. October 25th, 1899. No machine blades for fatty bishop and gluttony heiress. Crime cuts all for the sorting bins. And the very best, as always, back in the dumbwaiter to the kitchens above, to be stewed and plumped and gravied, and breadcrumbed and returned to the table for the next night's feast. And not every night, you see, although we have begun to increase the frequency of the final act. Unlike the poor, the rich will be missed, given time, but we will continue to spoil and ready them, and our fine foods are now exported to the mansions and lodges across London, and it has been noted in the Times of late how rather overweight and the great and good are becoming. with their diets of fine wine and rich meat. Indeed, in Punch last week, a cartoon showed Viscount Selwyn as a stuffed pig laid upon the platter for his peers to dine upon. A vicious and cowardly slander, no doubt, but he tasted delicious. At the spark plug. This electrification must be lethal to the touch. Now to confound the machine and flood the system, this time not with sewage, but boiling, sparkling liquid death. So am I supposed to, if I disable it, will the pigman eventually wander in here? And then I could destroy him this way.
But will they be free?
Yes, my friend. Drained and bled and freed from the prison of the flesh. Free to ascend as smoke to the stars.
And the good? The worthy? How will we save them?
Show me these worthy, Mandus. Show me these good. I do not see them.
With trippery. No naked flames, no unshielded electrics. Okay, I did something. Coolant pumps. I sent an opportunity. My first strike. Impeding these cogs with a large enough object should jam the flow of a coolant, causing a pressure buildup that will split the pipes and rupture the tanks. Okay, so the further ones do not explode. Interesting. But I guess I've blocked this already. Like, the cogs are no longer moving. October 27th, 1899. Then upstairs to bed, to toss and turn on bloated stomachs, to copulate and puke upon the chaise lounge, four-poster or dressing table, collapse at last into the engulfing mattress, drunk and drugged and fat and stupid and senseless, and spring the trap, the man-pig is. Spring the trap. At the pull of a lever, a set of hydraulic pistons and gears are fired, resulting in 3 walls of steel bars dropping from the ceiling via the canopy to cage the product into the bed, preventing escape. The entire bed is then tilted backwards into the wall by a powerful spring mechanism, and fed by the hydraulics. The pressure for the system is created as a byproduct of the vacuum evisceration system employed for mass production elsewhere in the pig line. In this way, we have created our very own bottled revolution, for the movement of the masses is a casual factor in the extermination of the rich. Okay, so that explains the beds with the cages. That's where they were that's where they were laying the nobles, or like the rich and whoever they were feasting to rest. And then afterwards they tilted them into the production line. So if the below is flooded now, maybe electrifying the water will actually do something. I guess it did kill the man-pig.
I know you, machine. I know what you fear. I will rain excrement into your very soul. I will destroy you.
You are too late, Mandus. My great works are almost begun.
Okay, I will rain excrement into your very soul is one of the dumbest things. It's one of the dumbest lines of dialogue I have heard in quite some time. October 27th, 1899, and waste not, want not, for here the assorted slope and innards are sifted and sorted, and enter the world through more channels and means than one could possibly conceive. The product passes by the section of the engine and is driven through the blade, splitting it into two sections, ready for the butcher's block. And in the interim, it is kept in the freezer base under the house, and the heat produced naturally by refrigeration process feeds into the pipes and crannies of these rooms. And it's the very reason, my dear friend, that we can sit here in shirts and waistcoats, but no jackets, on a freezing winter's night, without a fire in the grate, and discuss our great enterprise. The warmth in our bellies and toes might be attributed directly to these bellies and toes passing down the steam, fire and blade beneath our feet. December the 2nd, 1899. Walking away from the temples, the small pile of stones under the rhododendrons, the skulls of innocents under the loose clod? Clod? It's a clod. Headless rib cages in the cool stone behind the altars, 3,000 miles apart. I traced back my life to this instance. Rain channels eroded in ancient stone. The toxins are already in this damp, this falling water. I hack and retch and vomit into the sink, and grasp the bowl with both hands, and stare. There in the plug hole, as clear as day, a toy spine, clockwork and intricate, like a child's spine, but clockwork. How could that be? How could a child's spine be made like clockwork? I washed it carefully and placed it on the mantelpiece by the egg I laid myself under the garden where the children's skulls are buried. I call it my Mexico. Okay, definitely the rumblings of a crazy person. We are the pig. We are all the pig. The path to Tripoli. It is critically injured now, I am sure of that. It jeers no more. I feel it shudder around me, a wounded animal pressed flat to the ground. I feel it is afraid of me, and I hate it all the more, as I hate myself for unleashing it. My head pounds with blood, my teeth vibrate, I retch and burn with fever. I am an angel of death, descending to smother the firstborn, for the death of the two that came after.
I am here again, at the foot of those stairs, towards the red light of the nursery, sunset in the window like a bleeding sky, the horizon a slit throat, the seeping dark to drain the guilt from us. I am the jaguar-faced man. I am the feathered serpent. This priesthood is mine.
I can meet him, your great engineer. How marvelous. I must say, Mr. Mandus, my excitement is almost unseemly.
Yes, I can see that. Step this way, Professor. I will be right behind you.
Mandus? Mandus, where the devil are you? I can't see a damn thing. Mandus!
We are the pig, Professor. We are all the pig.
I climb in stillness now. Blue water runs in my veins, now I am clean. I carry the knife of this factory, the bowl of this mill. I am come to collect you from your fields and your furnaces. I will gather you into the white clouds. I will gather you to me, and I will take you home.
The veil lifts, the bride is waiting, and in this instant, cradling my children's heads in my palms, I knew I had to unbuild what I had constructed. This machine was ever mine, and it fell to me to redeem it, and myself.
Hear me, Mandus. My gears are adjust. My steam is built. Soon I will spill that blue water and split the egg, the atom, my soul, and there will be a very great burning that we might make the world clean. Be proud, for this is your doing. Until you steeped me in the blood of your own, I was nothing but rotten architecture. You have made me, and I will make the world anew.
Vacuum eviscerators. In my dreams, I walk with my children. I walk the tunnels where no human had trod before. I am sure of that. It is just me and him now. Frost forms on my coat sleeves. The deathly still and the freezing air tell me I am close. Tripary Pro Grinding. Scalding Hoses. The sausagery. Okay, so we make sausages out of people as well. Sure. Still not entirely sure to what purpose.
Why did you take my children? Aye, Mandus. Of all the blood we have spilled together, the first drops fell from your hands alone. then I am damned for a filicide, and everything is lost.
Orgone distribution tanks, maintenance access. Danger. Do not exposed to ultraviolets. Contains vitae. Okay, that was definitely weird. Those were like electric disappearing man pigs. Electrogravitic suppression, South Tower. Mandus descending amongst the spirits. The Aztecs believed they could avert the apocalypse through sacrifice. History tells us they failed. Their tragedy was simply that they could not spill enough blood in time.
save you, only to spare you. I would have given my soul to spare you this world and its loam. My children, what have I done? What have I become? I will put it right, my darlings. All of my wrongs will be righted. All of my sins washed clean. I love you, my darlings, and I am sorry. I am sorry for all I have done. I simply loved you all too much for this world.
Mandus, put aside your misguided crusade and let me save them. You may hate me, Mandus, but I have seen the future, your 20th century, and let me tell you this, a far greater slaughter awaits you there. I seek to save the world by blood now, before millions fall beneath history, pushed under by blade, bullet, and gas.
Okay, that makes no sense whatsoever, which, you know, is probably to be expected of crazy people. I will comment on that in a little bit, because I do have a feeling the end of the game kind of approaching. Is that a heart? Yep, it's even beating. Interesting.
I will destroy you.
Stop him! Stop him! Kill him!
It is over. It is time to end this madness. God help me. I am lost in the dry paper soul of the world.
Edwin, Oswald and I.
Madness, listen to your heart. You know you are with me. You created me to save the world. I am your friend.
It kind of looks a little bit like Agrippa. Not really.
Mandus, please, I am no more evil than you. We sought the same thing, to save humanity, ridding them of their painful, stupid, pointless lives. Mandus, stop. Think about what you are doing. For your children, Mandus.
Do not speak of my children, monster.
I did not kill your children, Mandus. You sacrificed them on the temple steps, knowing what the coming century would do to them. Your sons will drown, lungs full of mud and shrapnel, on the banks of the Somme. You wanted to save them from the horror to come. That is the vision we shared. Everything we have built to avert this coming nightmare. You and I are one. We are the same. Our souls are entangled. We deserve to make them free. I have stood knee-deep in mud and bone and filled my lungs with mustard gas. I have seen 2 brothers fall. I have lain with holy wars and copulated with the autumnal fallout. I have dug trenches for the refugees. I have murdered dissidents where the ground never thaws and starved the masses into pain. A child's shadow burnt into the brickwork. A house of skulls in the jungle. The innocent Mandus trod and bled and gassed and starved and beaten and murdered and enslaved. This is your coming century. They will eat the Mandus. They will make pigs of you all, and they will bury their snouts into your ribs, and they will eat your hearts. Please, Mandus, no. For your children.
So am I going to transform myself into a pigman?
I lay there and watched the god I had created die. At the end, when we were cold as the stone we had hewn his body from, when the lights were nearly all extinguished, we heard, in the silent distance, the man-pigs singing to one another. Then, as the last lights were gone, and we lay together in the deep, they drifted away, and all was silent. Such a silence I have never known. And as the dust settled on my open eyes, and we lay together embraced forever, I heard, miles above us, the sounds of the city turning over in its sleep. A church bell ringing out, and in that moment, the new century was born.
So there are major parts of the story I don't really get. Like, there are some gaps in my understanding of how the story is supposed to fit together. Because what I don't understand is where the engineer, where did he come from? Like, I know that he comes from that other world. He's not really human, and he has an ability to see the future, I guess. He has seen the 20th century and all of the destruction it's going to bring to humanity. Like, they mentioned, the First World War, the Holocaust, they mentioned the atomic bomb, and they mentioned like a whole bunch of other atrocities that are going to happen. So I know he comes from that other world, but how did he come into this story? That's what I don't get. And also what I'm murky about is, how did Mandus first learn about like the Brandenburg and the Vitae and all that? Was it through the engineer? Like, I guess because he looked at first glance kind of a little... Well, I guess he didn't really look like Agrippa. Agrippa had his mouth unhinged. But, like, I don't understand where and when and how did the engineer first arrive, appear in Mandus's life. But I guess the story is, like, the rest of the story is that first of all, Mandus visited like an Aztec temple, and maybe he actually found the orb within there, because the orbs, they used to be in places like old temples or tombs or caves, like caves linked with the Mithraic with the Mithraic religion. Although that's distinctly European, so I'm not sure what that would have been doing in Mesoamerica. But yeah, maybe that's kind of linked with something. But the crux of the story is that regardless of how did the engineer come into the story, which seems to be a very important thing that I'm missing, but he told Mandus of all of the horrors that are going to happen in the 20th century, and Mandus was already kind of depressed from the death of his wife. So that kind of broke him, and he like killed his own sons because he thought that's a preferable alternative to watching them grow up and actually take part in like World War One and then World War Two and then all of those other things. And then together they decided it's better to like exterminate the entirety of humanity rather than let them engage in those crazy shenanigans that they would be up to in the 20th century. So that's the gist of the story that I get. But I also don't entirely get the ending. Like, what did I really do? It seemed to me, from the way I strapped myself into the chair, that I made myself into a man pig, or like I lobotomized myself, which, you know, would fit with the kind of fit with the quote at the beginning: "He who makes himself into a beast escapes from the pain of being human," because obviously Mandus was deeply traumatized by the fact that he basically committed genocide. And on top of that, all of those horrible things are still going to happen, even though at the end he seemed borderline okay with it. Like, he seemed like carefully optimistic about the coming century. Like, maybe he figured, which, if you ask me, that's not such a difficult thing to come to a conclusion of, but maybe he figured that the wholesale slaughter of the entirety of humanity is actually a worse idea than letting them live through the 20th century. And sure, there's going to be a lot of wars and atrocities and horrors, but there's also unparalleled advancement in science and, you know, societal progress and the quality of life, especially in the latter part after the Second World War. I feel like there are parts of my understanding of the story that are missing, but what there was, I'm not super into this game. Like, I wasn't super into the first game, but I think this game is actually less engaging in a couple of crucial elements, because it actually took away some of the mechanics, some of the elements that I found to be quite cool about the first one. Like, for example, the sanity changes, the fact that your sanity altered the environment in some small ways, like there was blood where there was water before, or like in the paintings, the faces changed into skulls. I found that to be very cool and a very creative way to utilize art and art direction in your game. So it was a pity that that disappeared, and generally this game seemed very simplified. You couldn't open most of the drawers. Most of the puzzles weren't really puzzles because the solution was like right next to whatever you were doing. Like literally you had to carry like a fuse or like a cogwheel like 10 meters or whatever, and it was done to the next room or something. Or sometimes not even that. Sometimes it was like right next across where you picked it up. Yeah, I do think this game was very simplified compared to the first one. And the story, I feel bad judging the story if I do not get it in its entirety. As I said, I seem to be missing some crucial elements. I'm not sure whether that's because I'm stupid or did I miss some documents or plot revelations. Yeah, that was Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs. I'm not impressed. I think it's actually a little bit worse, for me at least, than Amnesia The Dark Descent. And Amnesia The Dark Descent was already nothing special to me. So overall, like, it's meh. I'm going to forget it probably very quickly. I will play the last game, Rebirth, because as I said, I bought all of them on a GOG bundle, so might as well. But for now, that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.